Hi, everybody. If you don't know me yet, I'm Cheryl. I created this group, Translating Spirit. I'm also the creator of the How to Speak Spirit program and Lightworkers in Training. And we have a mediumship development circle. And if you're interested in any of those things, you can reach out to me by a messenger. I'd be glad to give you some details on what we offer. I'm coming on live today because my guides have been nudging me to chat with you about, well, continue the theme of the last video that was about superpowers are for humans. I feel like there are a lot of people in the group that have these wonderful gifts and they're not getting out into the world to use their gifts because they feel like if they're not a happy camper 100% of the time, they're somehow not good enough to be a light worker or to be using their gifts to help others in the world. Like you have to be perfect. And I want you to know that that is not the case. Spirit knows that we're human and we all have gifts that we are called to share, and we all have our part to play in this great awakening that's going on. So I wanted to touch on this, what I call Lightworker Blues, and a couple of the main reasons for it and some of the things that we can do to alleviate it. I just want to preface this by saying I'm only sharing my personal experience and opinions. I'm certainly not a doctor, and I don't claim to have a quick fix for everybody's depression. If you are really struggling with depression and anxiety, I suggest that you speak with a professional. But I wanted to talk about the kind of day-to-day blues that a lot of empaths and sensitives and light workers tend to struggle with. So, it's often been said that we sensitives are often struggling with what we like to term negative emotions, but all emotions are valid, of course, because we're the ones that see a world so badly in need of healing, and we feel that on such a deep level. So it's that sensitivity. If you don't have ways in place to sort of insulate yourself a little bit from all of the pain of the world, it's easy to take on other people's suffering. So even when you're not suffering at the moment, if you're not practicing good self-care and spiritual hygiene, energetic hygiene, it's easy to fall into this kind of listless state of depression or blues because you see that so many others are suffering. One really productive way of dealing with that is to use your gifts to alleviate the suffering of others. And it starts with self-care. So if you're, for example, learning Reiki, you can use Reiki to heal your own self on a physical level, on an emotional level, etc. And you can use Reiki and other modalities to help others around you, even if it's to begin with only your friends and family. Helping to alleviate the suffering of even one other person is at least doing something to shift the balance of suffering to healing in the world and to shine light, and on a world that's often darker than we'd like it to be. Another reason is that we're often living out of alignment with our mission and our calling. So, for me, it started very early. I started out teaching Sunday school, and this was when I was a teenager, so 15 and 16 years old. I had a group of first graders. I was supposed to be teaching them how to go for their first penance, and I had issues with the doctrine and the dogma even then, and I had a sit-down talk with a priest at that time, and I said, I taught the kids what you asked me to teach them, but I would like to know, if you say that God hears our prayers, why can't God also hear our confessions? Why do we have to confess our sins to a priest? And luckily for me at the time, being a 15-year-old girl, the priest that I was talking to said, well, that's wonderful. That shows that you have a personal relationship with God. Not everybody feels that, and a lot of people need to hear the words that they're forgiven before they will feel it. And that's what we're here for. And I thought that was an interesting answer. There's a whole other story with that I won't get into now, where I started seeking out the people who also had a more personal relationship with God. But that began this kind of lifetime of being asked to teach one thing and feeling that it wasn't quite jiving with the truth that I felt inside me. And it continued. Early in my teaching career, I taught psychology. And the textbooks, of course, said that there was really nothing to ESP, that psychic skills weren't real. And I knew for a fact that telepathy was real and precognitive dreams were real, because I had experienced that. And, you know, what do you do when you're part of this system that is disempowering to people and preaching a reality that is not all that you've experienced, and you know for a fact that it's missing the mark, it's not being honest? So, you know, that caused some cognitive dissonance within me. Like, how can I stand here and teach this when I know for a fact that it's not true? I only taught psychology for a little while, and then I was also teaching French at that time. I've taught French for 28 years professionally. And most of those years were very happy years. I got to teach stuff that I was really passionate about. And in particular, there are some French rappers, believe it or not, that I am utterly convinced are light workers, and they had very positive messages of unity, etc. And it was really, you know, just kind of raised the vibe and promoted this sense of unity. And I was all about that. So while I was able to teach those things that were in alignment with who I am as an authentic being, I had some really great years teaching. And, you know, I loved it. I loved working with my students. However, the last few years, you know, toward the end of my career, I was really feeling this calling toward something more spiritual, and being able to do spiritual work as my full-time rather than the side thing. You know, I had taught mediumship down at the UU and in an online circle for years. And I've taught Reiki, etc. But it's always been, you know, it had been at night and on the weekends. And, you know, it's a lot when you have a family to care for and lots of pets and so on. It's a lot when you're also having a full-time job and commuting and trying to build a spiritual business. And I know some of you in this group are in that position too, where it's, how do I transition and do what resonates and what is in alignment with my mission as a full-time? And, you know, not going to lie, that's not an overnight process. You have to first build up some mastery and some confidence in the modalities that you're using. And there may be a period of time where you're in transition and it's busy. But there are ways to do it, and we can talk about that. I would say wherever you are, even if you need your, 9 to 5, or you're not able, you're caring for family members, etc., and you're not able to do spiritual work full time, do it as much as you can do it. Do it in a consistent way, and don't ignore your spiritual urges, right? You have this calling. You're probably feeling nudges from your spirit guides and from your higher self to use your gifts more in the world. I'm not saying quit your full-time job and go do that 100% right now, but I'm encouraging you to continue working on your skills and to use your gifts as much as you can in this world right now, because we are in this period of awakening and transition, and your skills are very much needed. And when you are using your gifts to your fullest potential, with the understanding that that may not be that right now you can have a full-time spiritual business, if you're doing all that you can do, that will do a lot to alleviate your Lightworker blues and help you feel like the shining spirit that you are meant to be in this world, and that you are at your core. Lastly, A lot of light workers get the blues because they are living disconnected from other light workers. Some of us may go all day without being able to chat with another person who gets them. In some cases, I know, especially in these last few years, some of us have been surrounded by family members who are living basically in a different reality than we are. Whether that means, I'm lucky that my family pretty much gets me. But I know that's, I'm talking about the family that I live with. I have other family members that have a very spiritual background in all different ways. And I have other close family members that we haven't seen eye to eye in the last few years. And I know that a lot of you are going through that. I know a lot of people that I've chatted with from this group may have, even husbands or close friends or sisters, moms, whatever have you, that really are living in a completely different reality, that you just don't see eye to eye and you feel like you can't be yourself. And I know that's a really hard place to be. So what I've found helps with that is to have the online community. And that's why I really created this group several years ago, Translating Spirit. And it's also, one of the reasons that I really appreciate having the Mediumship Development Circle, even if it's a small group that we get together with on a regular basis. That 90 minutes on a Monday can go a long way to making you feel connected with other people who feel subtle energy, who are able to communicate with spirit, who see the awakening that is going on this planet right now, and let you know that you're not crazy. Like, there are so many of us, and it's just not always obvious, but there are light workers all around you. And it's time that we unite and make some really intense positive change on this planet. We can't wait anymore. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about when I say that. It's time. It's been time. We've been feeling this coming for some time, and it's like now it's long overdue. We all have that vision of what this life on this planet could be, and it's time to make it all that it can be. Kind of take the power back and shine our light and unite as light workers and do some serious good on this planet. We all have our part to play, like I said. My part is my new project. It's called Lightworkers in Training, and part of that project is creating an online community where we can share our gifts, practice our modalities, and really have a sense of community. I'm really excited about this, and I would like for those of you who are also excited about that prospect of having that online community in a closer knit way than just our Translating Spirit group and comments to each other. If you really want to forge some relationships online with other light workers and people who are on your same wavelength, you want to get on board with this program, please reach out to me via Messenger and we can talk about what that looks like and how that's going to take shape. I would love to hear from you. Reach out anytime, and I will see you again soon. Have a great weekend, guys.